Stuart's my big baby, so I'm just going to be working with him like this. Now, obviously, a newborn, really, I'm talking newborn, under a month or two, you're not looking per se, just like Diane was doing yesterday, you're not looking to synchronize vision. That's just not, they might be opening their eyes, but if they're opening their eyes, it's just like, there's no like, okay, that woman there, she's been giving me some good stuff, you know, I guess she's my mom. There's none of that kind of thing. This is here, so 1 week old, and I can stop it as it's going. So, all the points are here. But as you can see, I'm gonna just stop him. See how the eyes are kind of opening up, but like, there's no clarity, there's no, he will react, but not purposefully at all. Does that make sense? So there might be like that the light comes on, just like Moishe used to say that he could tell by picking up the head if the crib was placed against the wall and the light source was here, that the baby would have more of a head turn, let's say to the right, because it would look this way constantly. So his idea actually was put the crib in the center of the room, so the child didn't have, had more of that neutrality. So mom would come from one way, the other way, light source, all of that kind of thing. Or you put the baby down to the right, to the left. That's another thing. I mentioned bottle feeding yesterday. Guess what? If I'm a right-handed person, where is the baby also going to present the lying down? Usually through my left side, because again, I'm right-handed. Instead of a bilateral placement down to give that child variation and just going back to the floor. Especially where you see in the car seat where they have their way of placing that child in and the way it affects them. But you should start to see all of these other things that I'm showing you, that counterbalance, that balance, the rotation, how the hands will start to come out, the fingers. I want to do this kind of thing for each development of body part, from hands to here too. So you can see again the spasms, the hands come out and the grabbing, but nothing is with purpose. So again, unable to work together. That means this is not the time to be working on tracking and those kind of things. It's just there. Look at the difference in 17 days now in that child with the vision. But still, it's just a very small area or range of vision. And this is where you're going to start to see, again, about the month of age, where their gaze will start fixing maybe the head, that they're still looking that way, and they don't necessarily want to turn over just because I want them to. But see how he counters. See the counter, that left, right, just real nice and beautiful. See it? As the head turns, he's automatically countering through. And there's Diane giving him an assessment. And that's really nice at that age that he's actually trying to reach the object. But you can see with the black and white, it's almost like a magnet. He can't get his gaze away from it. He's really stuck. So at this stage, you really want to use that plate at a very reduced rate. We did not do that with the baby that was there because she was so premature, her eyes were not up to this level yet. That's what Diane was talking about. So see here, he doesn't have the same attraction to the shiny thing as he does with the black and white plate. You can see still at 1 month old, toy, no toy, he's still just being a baby. They'd much rather play with your face and just the actual movement than actually, scoring and doing something. But even there, it's like he'll just be picking up, letting go. There's no purposeful grip yet. There's no, so he's responding, but he's not creating an action over it, per se. But allowing him to move his pelvis separately, in a sense, while he just plays with the ball, or again responds to that ball. So same thing with Stuart. If he's my baby, So no, I'm going to ask you to help me a little bit just because the table's small and you're large. So let's say I'm going to just come through the side over to your elbow and bring you up to sitting. Correct? Now come back down. So now what I would like you to do is cross your eyes and come up to sitting that way. Do you see already how you're going into a lift right there? Do you feel the difference? You're not even presenting onto your elbow. So I'm going to go a little bit further. So cross the eyes, come up now. There. Do you see how much effort is in that? Come back down. So let your eyes alone. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah.
Just that? So now again, so now just typically come back up to sitting. See the difference?
Yeah.
Just not having the eyes crossed, right? So, and what also what Stuart is experience is you get a bit of that vertigo, okay? And that's really difficult on the system. So if a baby already has tone issues, they're now trying to sit up, they're dealing with cross-eyed, because I'm telling you now, if the baby's cross-eyed, they've got tone issues. I mean, there's just no, you can't say, oh, the eyes are really messed up. The rest of them is doing really well, not on a baby. You know, that's where, again, you have to look at where the system's at. So let's now, sorry.
Do you think that kids with CVI have that too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's now cross your eyes and contract your left foot and try to come up to sitting. Okay? Now, so that baby is never going to come up to sitting in this manner. So if I start to work with them, now, so leave the foot alone. Just relax your eyes for 1 second. So now go back, now cross the eyes, and I'm going to bring you up to center to sitting. Cross the eyes. It's still woo, but do you see now I can let you stabilize and find your horizon? Okay? So now, sorry, I have to come around. So now if I was here, again, working you, right? And going here and going there. It is still so much more advantageous to your system versus come back down, let your eyes alone, let them relax. Stuart's gonna be sorry he signed up for this. So, and now cross the eyes. I'm gonna bring you all the way up to sitting this way, this way, this way. Do you see the difference with cross-eyed? How much harder it is?
Yeah.
Just, see he's spinning.
So much harder to
So
come
like
up with a rotation.
I think also
When you're
trying
cross-eyed.
never helps.
Well, you can't, but the problem is the little things. Do you see when Stuart goes into a lift? He can do that. A baby, not. There's no way they can lift and get up. So that's when the therapists come in more typically and say he needs a stronger core. So come back down here now. Now we're going to give Stuart CP. Tighten the abs, go cross-eyed, and come to sitting. Do you feel the difference there?
He can even talk now.
Well, yeah, that's where too. Where do you get these kids? They can't talk. You're exactly right. They can't babble and this kind of stuff. Do you remember this? Have any of you guys did this one where you elongate the spine? We did it in our training. And so eventually, see, I'm going to fall because I'm on the seam of the table. So that was a fall. So now again, I don't know if it's going to be harder because again, it's a mushy table. So, and it's been a while. So, yeah, see, I'm not going to. So, yeah, see, now I can't balance because I'm on the seam. But anyway, you get the point. So, to bring a baby up this way, and two, that they could possibly work with that kick and that balance, and then come back down. So again, I'm not looking for them to necessarily sit up, I'm looking for them to stabilize their vision. Because if you have vision, you have this much more out of your infant. You take away vision, and this is different from just being legally blind. Like if the eyes didn't come in, and the rest of the system's okay, that's different. But if you have visual diagnoses,
CVI, if anything.
CVI, acuity, farsighted, nearsighted, ptosis, colobomus, which the iris looks like it fainted off to the side, nystagmus is really bad, things like that. To come up to sitting through this total and expect the baby to do all of this, especially like, so Stuart can't do it, so I'm gonna put one eye out. So my eye's going out to the side. Do you see where my vision's going if this is my dominant eye? You know what I mean? I'm not even coming up here, because this eye's not even working. So even though this eye is out, can you see it? If this is my dominant eye, it changes my trajectory. So, or like if I'm cross-eyed, I have to come all the way down here to here to even see the floor, to think about getting up. Versus if I have typical vision where I can look out to the horizon. So the depth perception gets so thrown off here. So to sit there and have, let's say, a lazy eye coming in, do you know what I mean? Like, you're gone, guys. I cannot see you. So I don't know if you want to play with this or not. But again, to have a lazy eye, you know what I mean, and bring them up here, and then hopefully work with the vision where it can come out or stabilize, versus if I have a lazy eye, you know what I mean, and it takes so much longer to even find that I've got a vision to go after. So I'm doing this specifically to find the vision first, hopefully stabilize the vestibular more, and then go into more, quote, typical milestone developmental movements. I'm going after the vision. And so at that same time, if I have, somebody here like dangling the carrot, that's where I like working with Diane. So especially if I have, like I said, nystagmus, and I'm bringing the child up here, and then there's somebody right here, and I'm there stabilizing. Then the system goes, at least you'll see the breath, and then they can work on that. But nystagmus going up around, it is, isn't it difficult on your whole? Yeah. And now if sitting up though hurts you on top of it, giving you a headache, or you can't swallow and breathe right, all of those kind of things that come into play, deal over. Why am I sitting up for? Can't breathe, I can't see, I can't, you're starting to stack the deck. And when that baby starts to grow in proportions, that, especially if they get a long torso or these kind of things, then to get them to milestone around that, where they're supposed to be these little balls of clay that you can go around and do all these things with. So I'm doing it for the system to stabilize, not, like I said, that I'm going specifically for them to sit up, and I just don't want it to be such a overwhelming experience on their system. So to do it in a nice little successful environment is so much more beneficial to their cognitive development than A, expecting them to do it, or B, having it being done also by a professional who doesn't understand those principles, and then they really mess with the kid. Because like if they do this and they grab them by the pelvis and come on, sit up, and where their hand work is just not great, the kids are like, they don't know how to stabilize, and that's what really throws, I believe, those reflex patternings, and then have to be worked with and reintegrated, because you get the whole spasticity going through the system, not just the eyes.
It's harder to break a bad habit than to start a good one.
Well, not only that, but you just have more things to work with. So, and a baby doesn't need that, nor do you as a therapist. So, but if a kid feels successful, then they want to do it more. So, I'm a Harry Potter freak. I don't know if any of you guys are, but not that I'm a complete freak, but you know what I mean. But it's like when he did the Patronus. Once he did it, he knew how to do it. You know what I mean? It just goes hand in hand. It goes back and forth. So,
I was going to say, it's not only children, it's adults too.
Right.
If somebody's successful, they want to continue being successful.
But also, though, as an adult, you have mind over matter. A baby does not. A baby's not going to go, damn it, I should have been rolling over 3 weeks ago. What the heck?
Right.
Where we are going, I've done this route 5 times. Why am I still doing it? Or why can't I learn to play the clarinet? And Bruce goes, did you practice this week? Well, no, but I should be able to do this by now. You know what I mean? But at least you can have those kind of conversations.
Right.
So a baby will try and do a movement, but if they were prevented to, instead of saying, okay, I'll readdress that tomorrow, It's the same thing. What if I'm in a car seat and I'm in this 3-point harness? And today's a day that I want to start coming over to my side. I can't because I'm stuck in a car seat. So tomorrow, to come over to the side now, they're not going to try this same mechanism. Now they're going to start to go this way to go over, because before they tried to tilt the pelvis, that didn't work, I was restricted. And now I'm going to go this way. And if they're somewhat successful, that's great. But again, as they get larger, older, whatever, because they don't have access to these areas that they need, then it'll just be, again, too difficult at some point, so they'll stop doing that as well.